The man out.
And the Blue Jays have the lead.
Jordan Romano trying to close things out. Second and third, nobody out. Pressure is really on Romano and the Blue Jays.
Swinging a miss to finish the ball game. You won't find a more challenging save in the history of Jordan Romano's career than what he just pulled off to wrap up the win, secure the series sweep today in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And so the Blue Jays complete the sweep in Pittsburgh, although the way they had to grind out that win on Sunday, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's a ton of momentum carrying the team into what will be a tough series and schedule waiting for them in Baltimore.
And they're all important now, right? Those good vibes are going to go right out the window if Monday's doubleheader goes awry. But we'll see if Jordan Romano and company can keep closing things out. And that's where Arash Madani and Shai Davidi begin.
Well, it was Jordan Romano again. Jordan Romano again in the ninth inning. Jordan Romano again in a one-run game for the 17th time this year in that kind of spot, getting it done again. Jordan Romano with the high wire act again.
It's not a beauty pageant, is how he put it. You just have to get the job done, which he certainly did.
Which he did with runners in scoring position, two of them, second and third, no outs. And what's changed now with the big man is how he approaches the situation. Afterwards, his manager called him an animal. Ross Stripling said there may only be one or two other pitchers in all of baseball who can get it done when the game matters like Romano did. But it's a different way of thinking when he's out there in big spots like that.
Throw his best pitch each time. It's such a simple mindset, but it really allows him to maintain his composure. You just think about the way he worked his way through that jam. Just calm. One pitch at a time, singular focus, and if you start letting other things get into your head, the situation, what the game means, what's coming up for your team, all that kind of stuff, none of that is going to help you. And Jordan Romano has found a way to block out everything and really lock in on the only thing that matters, which is the next pitch that he throws, making it the best one that he can throw. Now, it helps when you have 98, 99 in your back pocket with a wicked slider. He's certainly got the weapons to do it, but how you keep your wits about you in that spot is just as important as the stuff, and he's really found that right mental framework to get him through those types of situations.
When's the next pitch he may throw? After going Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, he says Labor Day Monday. He says, I will be available in Baltimore against the Orioles, leading into a huge series at Camden Yards. 4 of them there. Again, double dip on Monday with Gausman and Barrios on the mound. And the Blue Jays aren't giving you any kind of cliches now. Kevin Biggio came out and said this is a massive series for us. Ross Stripling said on the magnitude scale, it's a 9. But Stripling also said, we're better than them.
And the Blue Jays should feel that way, Arash. If they're thinking, oh, maybe we're not, or all this stuff, that's not the mindset you want to be taking into that series. And look, the Blue Jays have had a tough time with the Orioles so far this season, but this is their opportunity to correct it. But as much as this is being talked about as a massive series, and it is, but I think it means right now a little bit more for the Baltimore Orioles. They're in the position where they're chasing. The Blue Jays come out of this with a split. They just really need to survive the next 4 days, take the off day on Thursday, get themselves set for Texas and then for the Tampa Bay Rays afterwards. That's sort of enough for them. In an ideal world, sure, you win that series, but for the Orioles, if they lose that series, they lose 3 of 4, all of a sudden that gap in the wild card standings is really big. And now there's a lot of heat on them every game, and the Blue Jays have some room to breathe. So, yeah, the Blue Jays, they certainly have an opportunity to create some space for them. But, again, if they just come out of this level and with their pitching staff in decent shape, they're going to be all right. For the Orioles, though, it's going to be really tough sledding if they don't have a good week.
Santiago Espinal, he's in better shape too. He took the pitch off the left hand on Saturday night here in Pittsburgh, was able to fully flex it on Sunday afternoon. The Blue Jays expect Espinal to play at least one of the games in Camden Yards on Monday.
Thanks, guys, and you can expect so much baseball on a holiday Monday, starting with Game 1, Battle of the Birds from Beammore. Jays and O's beginning their doubleheader, 1 Eastern on Sportsnet. At the same time on Sportsnet 1, you can keep an eye on the Twins and the Yankees. Then At 4 Eastern on Sportsnet 1, the Rays hosting the streaking Red Sox. You've also got Game 2 from Baltimore, Jays and O's, at 4:30 on Sportsnet. Then later in the evening, Mariners hosting the White Sox on Sportsnet. Now Cleveland visiting KC on Sportsnet. And the Giants facing off against the Dodgers on Sportsnet 1. Full skip.
Speaking of the Dodgers, let's head back to Sunday, hosting the Padres. And before the game, Mike Clevenger doing stretches barefoot in the grass and, of course, wearing his tie-dye shirt. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth with L.A. trailing 1-0 when Will Smith takes Clevenger deep for his second straight game with a homer. That swing of the bat ties the game up at 1. Later in the inning, after loading the bases, Clevenger would be pulled from the ball game. And 2 batters later, with L.A. now leading 3-1, Trey Turner. The shallow fly ball. Ha-Sung King can't make the catch. A couple of runs will score on the double. Clevenger charged with 5 earned runs over 3 1/3 innings as the Dodgers win 9-4 the final.
Meanwhile, Marlins in Atlanta, top of the third. Peyton Burdick lifting this one foul off Max Fried. But look at Eddie Rosario on his horse into foul territory, grass stains and all to make the sliding catch. Top of the fourth, Atlanta leading 1-0. Fried, yet to allow a hit in the ball game, sits down all 3 batters in order, strikes out the side. Then, top of the 5th, 1 away. Fried, still with the no-hitter intact, induces the inning-ending double play. However, as you see, he's walking off the field with a little rain coming down, and a weather delay would end his no-hit bid of all things pulled after 5 innings, but his Braves would go on to win 7-1 the final.
That's a momentum killer. Mets and Nationals top of the third, man on. Luis Garcia, the chopper. Jeff McNeil wants to turn 2, but he bobbles it. McNeil charged with an error, and everybody is safe. Still in the inning, 2 out, bases loaded. Ildemaro Vargas is going to lift one. Mark Canha can't make the catch. Brings home a pair, capping off a 4-run frame. It's 5-1 for the Nationals. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Daniel Vogelbach lines one. Vargas doing it with his glove, climbing the ladder, and robs him of a hit. The Nationals, with their second straight 6-run victory over the Mets, they take it Sunday 7-1.
All right, Phillies, San Fran. 3-0 Giants here in the top of the 6th. Carlos Rodon striking out Bryce Harper with runners on the corners. Then 2 batters later, bases loaded, gets Gene Segura swinging for his 9th strikeout and 200th of the campaign. Next batter strikes out the side, finishes with 10 or more Ks for the 9th time this year, fired up on his way back to the dugout. Top of the 8th, though, 2 aboard for JT Realmuto, and this time it's his turn. Touches them all, a 3-run blast. First homer in 8 games to knock things up 3-3. But bottom 9, Wilmer Flores.
High drive down the left field line. Out of here. And this game is over.
Flores with his 5th career walk-off homer. He and San Francisco celebrating the 5-3 victory as a result of that swing. And after all the results, here's how things look in the National League. With Atlanta's win and the Mets lost, the Braves now just 1 game behind New York for first in the East, while the Brewers, failing to take advantage of Philly's loss, remain 2.5 back in the wild card race.
Little MLS action for you in the Canadian Classique, also known as the 401 Derby. Toronto FC taking on CF Montreal as the Italians getting their first taste of it. 5th minute, TFC awarded a penalty kick, and Federico Bernardeschi will bury it. 5 goals in 5 home games. It's 1-0. A couple of minutes later, more from Toronto.
This played through to Lorenzo Insigne! An emphatic finish from Lorenzo Insigne. What a start from Toronto. 2 up in 6 minutes in a match they just simply must win.
Lorenzo Insigne with his 5th MLS goal, making it 2-0 for Toronto. Then in the 19th minute, Alex Bono, the diving save. But Kamal Miller is going to score on the rebound. The Canadian international cutting the lead in half. Now a 2-1 game. 21st minute, more from Montreal. Georgi Mihailovic unleashing a strike from distance. And Bono gets a hand on it, but cannot keep it out. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Quickly, things taking a turn. Then in the 43rd minute, check out the great individual effort by Kai Kamara, who cuts to the net and beats Bono 5-hole. His 136th career MLS goal has Montreal leading 3-2. 54th minute, Montreal cross into the area. Kamara heading it to Alistair Johnston, who buries a header of his own. Montreal setting a franchise record with their 16th win and 52 points on the season after the 4-3 victory. And so, looking at the East standings, TFC failing to pick up a point and remain in 10th place. And the 3 teams they need to pass all have games in hand. Meanwhile, Montreal solidifying their 2nd place spot in the conference with the win.
Meanwhile, the Whitecaps not great away from Vancouver. Just 2 victories in 14 road matches this season, taking on San Jose. 4th minute, 18-year-old Cade Cowell getting around Javane Brown, then crosses it, and it comes to Jeremy Ababasi, who scores. 1-0 Earthquakes. 34th minute, Christian Espinoza gets it to Jamero Montero, who finishes with the left foot. Vancouver, they get shut out, losing 2-0 the final. And here's what it means in the West standings. A tough loss for the Whitecaps, sitting 10th in the conference, now 8 points out of a postseason spot.
All right, coming up, Ben Wagner tells us the next step for Bo Bichette as the Jays shortstop heats up for the playoff push. That's on the way in his Blue Jays takeaways.